This is the end of May. So you know what time it is, guys. It's time for yet another episode of our monthly review shows hosted by the Horsemen of the Apocalypse of the Xion Network. I'm your host. My name is Roun. We're going to be taking you through a monthly review, a review of the month of May with regards to pop culture happenings, with a special focus on works being produced by members of the Xion Network. This month, we have a treat for you. We're going to be focusing on Heartman by a man who's fast becoming a show regular, Matthew Clark. But before we do all that, let me give you a bit of background in case you haven't seen the show before, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. This is the End is a monthly review show with a special focus on works produced by members of the Xion Network. The Xion Network is an art creator and comic book group that was founded by Mr. Sean Allen in Philadelphia. Sean is a Barbadian-born artist who resides in Philly now. So he would have started the Xion Network over in Philly. And then after going back to Barbados and reconnecting with his Barbadian roots, he established the Xion Network 246, which is the local Barbados chapter of the network. The Barbados chapter is headed up by the one, the only, the award-winning, the lemon water drinking, the bougiest horseman of them all, the legendary Vengeance, Mohz. So we're just going to let each of the horsemen introduce themselves, starting off with the illustrious Julian Mosley. Mohz, make it yourself. Show it, man.
Thanks very much, and good evening, everyone. Like Roun said, my name is Julian Mosley. I go by the alias of Mohz. It's spelled M-O-H-Z. Simple. My horseman name will be, as you can see, it's called Vengeance. And when God said vengeance is mine, he was talking about me personally. So just like you know that. Anyway, so I'm an artist, I'm a creative, I'm a producer of many talents. I'm a master of one, that is myself, and I wear plenty of hats. So that's it.
Sounds good. Moving right along to the mysteriously placed Death. We've been trying to figure out where my guy's secret lair is. Those of you who were with us last week will remember that we were forced to sacrifice Ian to the volcano gods.
Last month, actually.
Sorry, last month. We had to send Jessica to get him because we needed him for this show.
You can't get rid of Death?
Yeah. Death is eternal.
It's true. So I mean,
we sent Jessica to get him. Indeed. And an update for those of you who were wondering, the volcanic eruptions have simmered down. So we're no longer being inundated with ash. So Ian did a great job. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we sent Jessica to get him, and we haven't seen her.
She took the place of the sacrifice. It's fine. Don't worry about that.
I wasn't going to bust your fells, but as you're snitching on yourself, Ian, let Jessica help you, man. We are very sorry.
Wow.
So we don't have our court mandated gender responsive member. We got no representative from the Bureau of Gender Affairs today. So we're going to move right along to the Horseman of Death. Ian, what is new and fresh with you?
Not much. Ian, Horseman of Death here, aka Dracanima Art, Dracanima_art, and you see the e-title. Just your friendly neighborhood artist doing a little bit of this and that here and there. Haven't been posting for a while, but much the cameras diss me, I'm getting back into it. You can cuss me later, as per usual. But yeah, that was it for me, really.
Or no, cussing him no works.
Or no.
I know we've been cussing Ian for quite a bit. But yeah, before we get into that, let's move on and introduce the Horseman of Wrath. Cam, what is going on?
Yo, what up? Xion Massive, good evening and welcome again to This Is the End. In terms of with me, team just won the Champions League. So I'm feeling it. I'm on one right now, right? So shout out to all the Chelsea fans in the chat, all the Chelsea fans that will watch this later. Big up on themselves. We did it against all the odds. I was in the back room at the stream with the guys, and they were laughing at me because of how nervous I was listening to the broadcast and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, he wasn't nervous. He was elated
It
afterwards. Just to let
was
you know.
hilarious. It was
Oh my god.
priceless.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, it was surely something. All right, that just leaves me. It's your boy Roun, Horseman of War, hobbyist, illustrator, and writer, creator of Restoration Earth. Probably not the most active artist, but that's why I'm here doing the reviews and not being reviewed. So that rounds it up for our cast. Like I said, no Jessica today. Hopefully, she'll be able to claw herself out of the volcano and join us a bit later. But in the meantime, let us get on to what we are reviewing. So today we are, oh, come on, cover. Today we are reviewing Heartman. So Heartman is a Barbadian folklore inspired horror graphic novel, series of graphic novels. We're reviewing volumes 1 and 2, which are a compilation of the first 6 issues of the book. So the Heartman is the book is based on the titular Heartman. The Heartman is a Barbadian folklore monster slash individual, kind of like
creature.
Yeah, slash creature. Think Freddy and Jason, but with a propensity for surgically extracting hearts from his victims. There's a lot of history and folklore that goes into the character, and we'll be exploring that as we get into the book. The book was created by Matthew Clark. It was one of his earliest works. He would have actually done the drawing for this book between 2008 and 2010 while he was at college, but the book would have been published in 2012. So it's, in terms of art and storytelling, it's one of his earlier pieces. We would like to say that it might not be as polished as other books such as Life and Death in Paradise and Hard Years, but honestly, I think Matthew did quite an amazing job. So you have a lot of positive stuff to look forward to. I won't spoil too much before we get into the review. Just to shout out that this is yet another Beyond Publishing comic book. These guys have been doing it for over a decade, and we are just glad that we've gotten the chance to highlight some of their works. You want to say anything before we get started, Julian, or can we jump right into section number 1?
Just basically the storytelling between Matthew. Because this, like you said, it was his earliest work, and honestly, it was something to be marveled about because it was while he was doing his finishing up his degree, he was actually still finishing up stuff that we had to do. And I remember sometime before he showed us a few of these pages, and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And plus two, some of the artwork that he had from before, because his style was totally different than what it is now. Hopefully, you will see it soon in a bit. But when I saw it, I was like, "Yo, how the hell is this dude doing it, though?" Like, I was just totally amazed. And then he actually put it out, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Yep, there goes those feelings again." Nostalgic. I'm nothing but nostalgic for this. So I'm really, really glad to actually get to review this with y'all and to share it with the public, and just let y'all know that Matthew is the guy. Enough said.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. So let us jump right in to category number 1. So we're going to be reviewing the setting of this book. Who wants to get started on the setting?
Can.
I like the setting is again a alternate version of Barbados, and I don't want to get too much into like the details, but they do have flashbacks of the past, to the origins of the Heartman and this mystical force that he is, and when people first heard about him in this version of Barbados, and they also have the present day Barbados and stuff like that. I think the setting for this story is very well. First of all, is very rural. You don't really see them play around much in the city and stuff. And I think that has to do with the whole lore of the Heartman as well, because everyone, when you hear about the stories of him, he used to chase you from the canes. So you would be going home late at night, and someone would be stalking from the canes. And the only way you have places like that is got St. George, you got St. Philip to a certain extent, St. John,
Right.
St. Joseph, those places. And I like the setting. I like that it is rural and there's not like clustering of people. So you do have the characters that are involved in this in a sense of a isolated area. So when stuff does go down, they have to rely on themselves. And I kind of like that. So you want to be doing anything now, or are we doing it later? The grading, because we could.
Oh, we don't need to grade yet. We can just
Right.
speak quite generally on it.
But yeah, so I for one like the setting. I like how he portrayed it with his art as well. You don't necessarily feel like it's a creepy place, but you do feel it's quite. I don't think desolate is the right word, but
More
you do get that
so
sort of
Maybe
like
just
it's
right.
isolated,
Yeah.
and a bit cut
Yeah.
off.
So I
It
do,
does,
yeah.
it does, yes, yeah, like it comes off isolated, but to me, I prefer to use the word subtle because it's in a pocket where it is comfortable. Um, that where people can say, okay, they're just doing a normal day to day going doing stuff, so it isn't like everyone is in a rush to do, or there is a big hubbub to get to things. So
Yeah,
everyone just one day off.
or if someone goes missing for like a day, they don't think that something is automatically wrong. So it leaves a
Exactly.
lot of space for it. Actually leaves a lot of space for stuff to go wrong and go
Yeah.
wrong very
Yeah.
badly.
Yep.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, man, I totally agree. So obviously because it's of the horror elements, this is an alternate version of Barbados. But like a lot of Matthew's work, it feels very much like Barbados. The in Life and Death in Paradise, we had the saying where the names are made up, but the places are real. In Heartman, the names aren't even made up. These are just actual locations in Barbados, and it's quite on brand. So I don't have a lot to say about the setting. The setting to me was just it's real world Barbados. There are like one or two things that I can point out that aren't 100% factual, but it's so rare and it's really done to move the story along. So I don't have much else to add in terms of the setting. So I'm thinking of mixing it up. We got some suggestions a couple months ago from Nigel Lynch, the one, the only. He was saying that we should score out of 10. So I think for this episode we can give that a go. We can test it. Let's score out of 10. So yeah, scores out of 10. What would you give the setting?
For me, when it started and the setting of it, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Because there are things where that you see are happening that you wonder is like, okay, all right, well, this goes this way, this goes that way. So you're wondering what's next. So it lures you into it slowly. And when you find out where it happens, and when it does get into it, my God, it does get into it.
Yeah. So I guess what I should have pointed out is that while the story takes place in functionally modern day Barbados, it was done about 10 years ago, so it's done 10 years in the past, but at the time it would have been present day. It does have the occasional flashback to the 1800s, the 19th century, I think.
Yes.
I think it was around then, yeah.
And there's a flashback, I think, about these mid 70s or late 70s, mid 80s, maybe, depending on.
I don't think it was so far back.
Years prior?
It was it started off in the 1900s because
1900s.
Yeah, because
Right.
slavery. It wasn't slavery. It wasn't a slavery thing that they were showing. It was a
plantation.
more of a plantation thing going on. And then there was also a cut back to like probably the 80s or the 70s.
Yeah, 25 years prior, I think, is what they were saying. So yeah, no, I think it's really well done. I think Matthew Matthew has a knack for capturing Barbadian history and culture in his stories, and I think he's outdone himself again with this. So for me, it's always I have to give him a 10. I have no confidence about this at all.
Yeah, I give him a 10 too, because really his ability, as you said, to like portray Barbados in the correct light, especially when it comes to locations and the actual setting of the piece, you feel like you're just legit just walking through this random place in Barbados. You might not necessarily even know the name of this place. It's just like, this is Barbados. So I give it a 10.
That just leaves you give your score, Cameron?
No, I didn't give mine. I was responding to K Maverick in the chat. He was asking about where we could source them. We usually do that at the end, but I just told him that we usually find them on Comixology. For my, I think I'll give it a 10. I can't think of anything wrong with the setting. So and it works with the story, and I like the story. So the 10 is. I mean, that's pretty simple for me.
Yeah. I think because it's so much. It's really just Barbados, and it's so well executed. I don't think there's much to contend there. So to K Maverick, my boy
feels very Barbadian.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, Maverick, I actually have the link to Comixology where you can get the book in the description of this video. So check it out. You can go purchase it right now. Volumes 1 and 2, that's what we're reviewing. And they are, spoiler, quite good. Quite good. So, moving on to category number 2, the story. Anybody want to take a crack at this?
No.
Go first, Julian.
All right. So the story for me, when it goes into the setting, whereas it starts off with these two individuals, basically like, well, as it start with a flashback, of course, and then it comes into the present day. So while it is establishing what the story and the world building of it, in this case of how this alternate Barbados is, and it gives more of a glimpse where it, like, again, a part of slice of life, but it gives more like a slight grittiness to it. And when we get into the whole situation, and then there's something just happened that it sets off like very, I can't say innocent, but it just like, all right, out of the way, and someone's like, yeah, ha, check this out because you got this here, and then boom, and then there's this creepy thing that just happened afterwards. From there, I think like the more you get into it, the more we go down the rabbit hole. And because it's a black and white, but the interior of it all is black and white. But we get to the part where we understand the art. But when we get into it, you just see like you find yourself like swirling into this, like, what the hell is this going to happen? What is this here? So it gives you like a trip down this lane where that when you try to figure out, is already like a step ahead of you. So it's like what you think you expect, that's not what it is. It just comes at you immensely. And again, that goes well with Matthew's earliest works of a storyteller. He also brings like these characters that are somewhat into like normal, like kind of like normal. They're not really like super fancy like the first couple of characters first, but when you get to like see these like characters, they're quite more interesting than the actual characters sometimes. So, well, that's how he still tells his story. So, but the thing that I really like how the story is and how it is set up, and it gives you a lot more where the saying goes, like, if something can't go wrong, it does go wrong in that sense. So for me, I'm waiting until like we dive into more, and then hopefully Matthew continues the work. But unfortunately, he kind of like paused it at 2 volumes. But I think by the grapevine, some part he was working on something. I don't know, maybe I heard something.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said he was working on the 3rd issue.
So yeah,
I am definitely waiting on that.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting on that.
Same. I'm very excited. So yeah, I think Julian gave a pretty good summary. I personally love the story of this. Well, so like a lot of these horror stories, the story has two parts. So there is the central horror story that focuses around our monster, the Heartman. That starts back in the early 1900s, and it progresses quite quickly, and then there's a lull, and then it pops back up in the present day. And then there's the secondary story, which is more of this like slice of life drama with the main character Skeet and his boys on the block and his girlfriend. And I don't want to be that guy, but I'm not interested in that story. I don't care about that bit. I don't really care about this guy and his dreams and his aspirations and his girlfriend and her grandparents. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. But the Heartman bits are super interesting, and they are what really drives the plot forward. So for me, I think that's quite interesting. In fact, I'm going to go into a bit of detail. We always get spoilers. So I don't know why I'm trying to not get spoilers. I love the fact. Yeah, I love the fact that they really explore the origins of the creation of the Heartman. They set him up as like a regular guy. So with regards to the Barbadian folklore, there was always the speculation around the Heartman that he had a medical background because of the way that the hearts were supposed to be removed from the victims. So there was always this quite vague. It wasn't, at least to my knowledge, when I was growing up hearing stories about the Heartman, there was never like a direct correlation to him being a surgeon, but it was always like this speculation that the human being that the Heartman has spawned from was had medical training. So I like how Matthew links that into the book and then adds the supernatural. He adds undertones of Obeah, which is very like quintessentially Caribbean in terms of our black magic system. He ties in the absolute hatred that every single Barbadian is born with. It is ingrained in us genetically for centipedes, and he makes that like a central theme of the book. So for those of you who don't know, there's a saying in Barbados that someone has centipede luck. LUCK. So basically, if you have centipede luck, it means you have the worst luck in the world. Because in Barbados, if anyone sees a centipede, without question, no matter where it is, the first thing you try to do is to kill it. You smash it, you cut it, you kill it with fire, it must die. So
and
like
Barbadians and then you kill it again.
Yeah, and then you double tap that bitch and make sure that it is gone. So Barbadians have like an absolute hatred and fear of centipedes. So making the centipede the core constituent of the Heartman's body, like they're just elements of storytelling that are again very subtle, just like Hard Ears, but the way that Matthew can weave Barbadian culture, Barbadian folklore, and Barbadian history into compelling narratives is something that I am genuinely very envious of. He does extensive research, and he just does an amazing job tying it all together.
Yeah,
so like, that's the first story.
But on top of that, it's like not even only in like weaving in the Barbadian folklore and narrative, but his ability to engross you in the mystery element of a whole story, and have you compelled to actually try to figure out exactly what's going on. Like, I know you, Roun, I know you really about the whole like side character story life, like you give a crap about it, but at the end of the day too, it's just like we don't necessarily need to care about them, but he sets them up in such a way to be like, let's just show you how terrifying this Heartman could be. And he does it so well. It baffled me. By the time reading the second volume, I was like, what the shit is going on here? Like, Matthew, what are you doing? It was impressive. I really, really liked this story. Like, it was, yeah.
And I don't know if to bring this up here or in the technique section. I'm not sure. So I'll just throw it out there.
You can bring it out again.
Yeah. So while this is a graphic novel and it is horror based, I think Matthew also does a really good job with storytelling in terms of the way that he's able to work around like very graphic gore, at least for the first 5 issues. So like even if you're very squeamish in terms of not enjoying like gore porn in terms of like the very graphic stuff that you would see in like Saw and those other things, Matthew does a really good job of being able to tell a compelling story without having to resort to the cheapness of going overboard on the gore, at least for the first 5 issues. The 6th issue also still has very amazing storytelling, but he leans a bit more heavily into the visual horror.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that issue 6 is my favorite. Like I thought he was being a bit light-handed. And when I say light-handed, it's not even that he can't do it well. It's that he's very clever with the way that he frames shots. So he will have a shot where someone is about to lose their heart. Like their heart is about to be physically ripped from their chest. And then, so he will show you that from the front. And then right before you actually see the chest open up, he'll cut away and he'll show you a back shot of, oh, that's terrible. A shot from
we're keeping this. We are keeping this, okay? All right.
That's making fun of cut. That's making the final cut.
I'm just saying, all bets are off.
That is making fun of cut.
Are off. All right.
And it's like,
you know what? He
Yeah.
can help it. You know what?
He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it. He's a red man. Exactly. He's a red man.
See,
Oh,
now you see why he's on him. No, we're keeping this.
I just let you know that Sean in the chat. So
Yep, I see Sean talking shit.
mess up. Mess up,
Yep.
bad boy.
Yep. We are going full throttle on this. You just
rated
said
it
back
out.
shot, we are going full throttle. Don't stop.
And
Keep going.
anyways, so he
No, I
switches
agree
to
with Rue though. I
a
agree
camera
with
shot
Rue.
from behind the character, and he infers all of the gore without losing the fact that what you just saw was genuinely horrific. So if you have a weak stomach, you can still read the book at least up to issue 5, which is 2/3 of the way through volume 2.
Yeah.
If you can't handle it, issue 6, which is the last bit of volume 2, is going to make you very, very sad. But I personally love how he toyed with the visual horror, and then at the very end, when he had like eased you into it, he just leaned hard onto the visual horror.
And that's all in the story, not storytelling element too, in terms of like lulling you in a false sense of security. Like, okay, this isn't too bad. I can read this. End issue 5, going to 6 now. What is going on?
Shock and awe. Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Pure shock and awe.
Indeed. So go ahead and give us your scores. Or do you have anything to add, Cameron?
I don't think I really have much to add to the story. My only issue, so as I always say with the story, you gotta have an inciting incident. They had that when the guys were in the mill. That's how the whole story started. Inciting incident. Then you have the build up. Then the climax. We didn't get to the climax yet because the story isn't finished, and because he's still working on it, and new issues are supposed to be coming out. And then you have the epilogue. So it has the makings of that. The only thing I don't really you are not interested in is the characters. They're fun to
Preach,
watch.
Cameron, preach. Tell them, let them know.
The characters are amusing to watch. At the very least, they're amusing to watch. But I don't generally care about their well-being. I don't care about the bad boy wannabe who doesn't want to go to university and wants to be on the block to sell drugs with his friends, whose father is a police.
Yeah, Skeet is fully Skeet is. Don't worry, we getting into characters next. But yeah, I'm on.
I do not understand. I don't understand some of the things that characters do / do not do when they see things happening. So y'all niggas stupid.
So let me play devil's advocate. Let me just play devil's advocate. So didn't you think Matthew actually intentionally did that to?
But that's So I I believe that Matthew's main focus was the Heart Man. And in
Exactly.
order for the Heart Man to be as ruthless as possible, then you can't have like Sherlock Holmes type characters from the get go
Interesting.
because
Right.
he's not the Heart Man is not his full power. He is now trying to reincarnate himself.
Exactly.
Like an accident happened and he got out. So it's not where you're hunting. It's not like you're hunting an actual demon that is at full power. You're hunting something that is now trying to reconstitute itself. So you
Right.
have to give him a chance to actually become a real villain,
The
so
archaeologists that go and tamper with
so
dig
that
sites.
people can be a hero. So
I definitely agree, and I guess I should add. So the four of us, I think we represent a very small section of the society in that we are university educated. We generally keep out of trouble. We're not involved in this stuff. But to be fair to Matthew, the characters that he writes reflect an actual segment of society that exists. So they're not unrealistic.
yeah,
Yeah.
They might just not resonate with us personally because of I guess
Y'all.
where we are in our
What-
journey.
You in the red shirt, not me.
Julian,
alright?
you ain't about the place selling no drugs.
Bruh,
You ain't
hear what going on, right?
living on the block.
Hold up, hold
You
up,
ain't
hold up,
shooting
hold up,
no
hold up, hold up,
men.
hold up.
I never
hold up.
see a
Let me
girl
just-
in you bicycle bar. Never.
Nah, it ain't gonna happen. But I'm just saying, technically, I know men that who are that, so therefore I see both sides of the coin. I just saying that
Julian,
you
Fair
might
enough,
not
that's
see
Julian
You
Butler
might
must
not
be like,
see it.
you don't know me.
it. Clearly, but I just saying that I know men who actually on that side you block. So therefore, to me, I understand. Well, there's that. So when Matthew writes these things, therefore, it's still part of things that I recognize, right? So for me, so we all might not see it, might not like it, like oh, skinnier face, like oh my god, this ghetto thing. I'm not a part of this, but for me, it is still part of life where I see one part of it, whereas the university thing happening, and then I see the men who's trying to struggle, who got things happening, who happen to be by parts of the system, fam. So yeah, I definitely say well. For me, I don't really necessarily care about ski because ski is a numbskull. Let's be fair about it. Because
That
his
is
father's a police, he but they want to sell drugs. So
trying
no,
to be a
happen.
wannabe bad boy.
Yeah, and there are people like that. So and I know
They definitely are.
guys.
And
that's
so
what
I was trying and failing earlier to highlight a particular comment. So this is the comment I wanted to bring up. So Sean raises a pretty good question. Do you need to live the same life as a character to be able to relate to them? And I definitely say no. You don't have to
Right.
live the same life as a character to be able to relate to them. I quite relate to fictional superheroes, and I am neither fictional nor particularly super.
But you start
So
looking superior yourself. But just letting you know.
trying my best, you know,
Mhm.
hitting the gym
You
occasionally.
look trying to be a Captain Marvel, can you? All right.
Oh, if only. If only. Let's not get distracted though. Back to the matter at hand. Story. What do y'all score the story at?
10.
Look at Julian being unbiased. I mean I want to say that Julian's talking shit, but honestly, right?
oh god.
even though I don't care for the side story bits of it, like Skeet and his girl and his boys on the block and whatever, I do feel like that adds enough to the main story. Like when Skeet's boy gets bitten by the centipede and starts to transform. Like, I mean, that's part of the side story. That's part of the village life, the average day life in Barbados. But it drives the plot along in a way that is meaningful. And I quite like it. So even though I don't care about that side of the story, I still think it's, from a storytelling perspective, it's well done enough that I would give the plot overall a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't want to give it a 10 because I just don't want to be that guy. But there is nothing stopping me from giving it a 10. Like when I was reading it, I didn't really find anything wrong, and I was engrossed in the story, and I read it in less, like both books. I read it in less than a day. So,
Oh yeah, I consumed
like
both of these
I
volumes.
started reading it
There we go.
and I didn't stop for anything. So
Correct.
Yeah, and for context, like book 1 is 120 pages, book 2 is about 100 pages, and I read through both of these on my first reading in less than an hour. I scarfed them down.
yeah, it was good. It was good food. It was like a side of food. A side of food.
There you go.
So yeah, a 10 I can't argue.
You can't
Like
argue.
I don't like giving out like 10s, like
10s arbitrarily.
perfect, right? But I don't have any issues, so why not?
Yeah.
Like
How about you, Ian?
for myself, I was kind of playing around between like a 9 and 10. The only reason I would have ever did that to the point is like if we had to actually care about the characters and the story, we didn't have too much time developing them as much as you could. But really, truly, at the end of the day, for me, it's kind of like they're there for a purpose. They're there for a reason to drive the story of the heart man. So I'm going to lead towards that then because it did what it needed to do for the story. They just push it along and get the main character in play. So we just want to see more from the main character, you know. So more.
So I would go to say that the characters are expendable.
Yeah,
That's it. They're only there for a purpose, like you said, and just to push the narrative. And that's about it for me. That's how I saw it. Because at the end of the day, the main focus primarily focuses on the titular heart man. So whatever revolves around it, so it keeps going. So if somebody had to just drop in the middle of it, it's like oil and water. You know it don't mix. So therefore, you just drop the water, it's gonna just swirl and do something else and just go.
Like
So
I've
that's
been
how it is.
thinking about this, like, and I've been like arguing myself about the characters in the story and why we don't care about them and stuff. But then it never occurred to me that they're probably not the main character, and that the main character is exactly who the title is named after.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I definitely got that impression
Because I don't like the Heart Man, but I care about the character. I care about it. I want to see. I want to see what happens. I want to see his plan. I want to see what. I want to see his vision. I want to see his vision.
What he was supposed to
better
be
tomorrow.
I know better tomorrow,
I like the Heart Man.
I want to see his vision. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want, sir? Go on.
What's your driving force?
That is a perfect segue into section 3, where we discuss the actual characters. And let me start off by saying that unlike Cameron, who doesn't like the Heart Man, but finds him interesting, I like the Heart Man, and I feel like the Heart Man is one of the few characters in this book that I like. Like I got genuinely excited in issue 6 when the Heart Man started doing Heart Man things. I was like, yo, this book just started. This is hype as hell. And I was a little bit mad that was the last issue. I was like, bro, this just got hella interesting. Something tells me, my intuition tells me that Julian has something to say. You want to add anything?
I'm just watching you like see literally we have a psychopath within the Horsemen.
That is a very hurtful thing to say. I care.
At least
and
I didn't call you Geller.
Deeply.
Come on now. I didn't call you Geller this flaws. At least he didn't look like actually like a traffic stop. At this point. At least you're yellow, you're born red, and you might be green for envy. So therefore, I just saying I ain't call you.
Y'all are so wrong for everything you do. But no, hear me out. We have a character who has very, let me not say clear motivations, but who has a very clear goal, surrounded by a bunch of other characters who are very wishy-washy. So what most would consider the main character, Skeet, he is a young man who's now about to dive into the world of adulthood. He doesn't know what direction he's trying to go. We have his girlfriend who's trying to take him on the straight and narrow. Get to university, get some qualifications, find a way to move out of the situation that he's in. His dad is a cop, but he is more engrossed in block culture, drug dealing, being a bad man without really being a bad man, which is something I got issues with. So there's his girlfriend who seems to be in love with him, but her grandparents don't think that he's good enough for her, trying to keep her out of I guess trying to keep her away from that life.
He isn't good enough for her,
his situation. Or is a situation.
I'm just gonna say.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. Whether or not I agree with it, I do. But so yeah, like her grandparents are trying to keep her away from that life. And it's alluded to the idea that her mother most likely would have somehow been involved in the wrong life and would have suffered the consequences of it. So the characters it's not even that the characters are like one-dimensional, and they're not well thought out. I feel like, for me personally, they're just so run-of-the-mill and honestly realistic that I don't find them very interesting. I see these people every day, and I can't say that I have a great deal of regard for them. So I don't want to read about them in my books personally. That's just me. But then you got the Heartman. And the Heartman.
That's
go on, Julian.
Sir. That's why
Rusi started my dad was just be like, done with that.
Indeed, like I don't care. I don't. Then you got the Heartman. And the Heartman is a man of motivation. The Heartman clearly has some goals. He wants to gain knowledge. He's using the tools at his disposal, whether or not those tools are people, to figure out what he is about in life. My man needs hearts. He goes out and he gets hearts. My man is seeking power. My man goes out and gets power. People get in his way, and they learn the hard way why that's a bad idea. The Heartman is a man after my own heart. Quite literally.
Yeah.
No, see, here's my problem with this, right? I technically
that is legit an actual dad joke.
It is. It really was.
Wow.
My thing is that I can see you representing all these characters if you had to be a lawyer and you had to actually go up into court. And you are representing the Heartman. You're representing every single badass character that has ever been told. And you are legit bullshitting the system so that he or she or it can do the same thing over and over. So this is where you got a problem with it. You being this guy being literally set free of every single thing bad in life. If Jason was here, he would probably you would have, but yeah, sign me up. I'll get you free. Yeah, you'll be a regular Johnny Cochran. Like, yeah, if the shoe don't fit, you must have quit.
Which one is Jason?
One with the mask.
That's the one, the mask.
Yeah.
The one, they want to drown in the thing.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the one.
But that's different. I think Roun will see Jason as a punk.
Yeah, Jason has like issues, and he's like fundamentally weak. I can't deal with that.
So you're more so like a between Freddy and
Freddy's a pedophile. Let's not even go there.
Yes, let's be real. Let's be real. I agree.
Are just more like a what's his name? Michael, like Halloween.
Michael has issues with the half girl issues.
Yeah, does Michael also have mommy issues?
All of them's got issues.
Less.
Yeah. A lot of these slashers are like fundamentally. I mean, they're physically strong, but they're weak mentally. I can't deal with that. The Heartman to me is like a proper supervillain. Like he's not broken so far. At least we have to follow his motivation properly. But he's not like broken and trying to figure out some way to like cope with it. He's just demented and doesn't care about social norms.
So like these characters that are folklore, let's say we put all of them in a lineup, or actually go head to head. Who you betting on, Growing? Who you betting on?
Heartman,
Heartman.
hands down. Heartman is coming for everybody's ass.
At full strength, I would probably say the Heartman.
Yeah,
Because
at full strength.
anybody that could turn into an army of fucking centipedes, I ain't want no fucking beef with.
Which we get at some point.
You got,
'Cause,
you
like,
got.
there's
You're a cutlass that could take a shotgun to the face. Fine, I will shoot you more times. I will shoot your kneecaps easy. Who is Jason? Attack me with a knife. I just keep running. This nigga is turning into fucking centipedes.
yeah,
I not only
More-
centipedes that sting
yeah,
you, whatever else, centipedes that would like stab you leg
Oh yeah, they don't
and
even
start
it's
possess
not,
you.
It's not even like
But
stinging
no.
you. They
That ain't the
burrow
only point.
into
They
you
burrow into you.
and eat you from the
Yeah.
inside out.
and these are centipedes that are centuries old though. Steady.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
He's
the
basically
whole
like
like
go on, Ian.
him taking over dude's name, I think it was
Snake.
Snake.
Snake?
Yeah.
Snake.
Yeah.
With the centipede, like, oh yeah, it bit him, but then he may stand up this one and watch his centipede dig into the man's leg. I'm like, so the boy ain't help this man at
But
all.
yeah, all right. So
No.
since we on characters,
To be fair, I would not have known what to do either.
Nah. I would have set Snake on fire, B. Just be like, sorry, bro.
If you're
You
chopping
gotta
off a leg,
You had a
fire
good
is it.
nah. You had a good run, but you need to. It's like how people will see a spider in their house and burn down their whole house. When you see a centipede in your boy, you got burn down your whole boy. B, you got left out.
yeah, like legit. So
I don't
since
make the
we still
rules.
on
That's just how it
characters-
goes.
So since we're still on characters, there are a few characters that you know what that I could agree with Ron that probably needs to deserve to die at some point because how stupid can you be? Because there are certain there's one where like not Skeet's mother, it's Snake's mother. So he's in a comatose state for like how many days, whatever, after. So she's like, oh well, these young boys, these drugs, you don't start smoking, he in there
This
frothing.
man is literally frothing.
He is literally
at his
frothing
mama
in his
for 3
bed.
days, and she's like,
For 3
meh.
fucking
It's
days.
drugs.
She cares nothing about her son or her son's well-being, period. She hasn't even looked to see if your boy could need a Panadol, a doctor, a masseuse, wait name. I mean, probably the hers at some point. Because let me tell you, because he move for 3 days. Then
It's
he
true.
miraculously was like start roaming, like nothing ain't happened. She even checking, like
Well, we should
See,
give you
that's
the PSA, guys. Stay in school. Don't do drugs.
and don't go in mills in old ones.
Oh yeah. And
Don't do it.
stay out of creepy plantation.
Stay
Mills. Don't do it.
But-
especially creepy plantation.
But you see how you bring up Snake mother not giving one like rat's ass about Snake. Contrast that to the chick who disappeared. Her mother who's like, oh, one night gone, yeah, where
Yeah,
she
because,
is.
like my daughter
Police,
hasn't checked in
everybody.
16 hours. Bring out the cavalry. This is not normal.
This is not normal. She used
Yeah.
to be knowing that we need to go over it. So like like there are some people. I agree. There are some people that are just like, all right, yeah, you are.
Mm.
If Mother's Day need to come around, you are not getting not one shit from me. Guarantee that.
But sorry, go on, Joe. Go on.
Then there's something that happened within the flashbacks that happened with explaining how the heart mind came to, and there was this priest that actually held up the part of the heart mind. The point is where there were a few officers who were involved in this point, and one of them just get like yellow belly early. It's like, or he was about to kill the heart man. He actually put the jar in and just put it somewhere else. So he was like, all right, I have the part to actually destroy this thing, and he doesn't.
Well,
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
He turned is Frodo? He turned Frodo.
Yeah. I think he got glamored a bit. It's
Yeah.
inferred that he was glamored. He said that there was like some mysterious force preventing him
actually
from
do it.
destroying it.
Big man, I know what
Yeah.
happened. I just couldn't.
I
destroy
call- I
it. So
call
put
that-
it in
I
a
call that-
windmill and left it there.
I call that bullshit and yellow belly. Sorry, I call it as it is. That is shitty, clearly. So
That's like, and you never
And then-
told anyone this?
as here's that's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
After
But
there's this part where he emerges. Then he says, "Well, all right, well, I got sent down like I can't do
Please
it
show
because
me, guys.
Yeah.
he,
but no,
I
but
think
okay. On the point of art about that, right? That also goes to the fact that we don't know the full extent, full capabilities of the Heartman.
The glamour, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like really, truly, he could have really been messed up for a good little bit. He could have gone stung or something, and Heartman take over for just
but
a quick bit. You know,
I'm
anything so. But
I
I agree with
hang
you.
on. I disagree. I in the church with this thing.
Mm.
I get in the first holy water going and dousing that thing in the early farm. Then after that, I put it in a jar. I said, "It go there,
Thank God that
Uh,
it go
indeed.
there."
sex
Okay,
bonfire and
it
everything.
has to there. Sit on fire. Put it,
So
bury
so
it.
so before we go on, before we start scoring, I have to give a shout out to Snake's girl. Snake's girl is high key a bad gal. So Snake has been in his
Yo,
room frothing for like 3 days, literally frothing at the nose and mouth, just looking terrible. His girl goes to check on him because his mother is tired of Snake shit. Snake is a druggie. His mother does not care. He needs to get off the drugs. His girl goes in to check on him. Snake is finally back on his feet. And at this point, he's already possessed by the heart man now. So he starts like grabbing at her chest because he can feel her heart pulsating. And his girl is like, "Oh, you getting a little frisky. Maybe another time, not right now." Snake persists, and girl's like, "Nah, big man, just cool it, just chill out." And he keeps pulling at her, and my girl gives him 2 warnings, and then is a full sock to the jaw. B. I respect that. I respect that so much. Like, bro, just check yourself.
Correct.
you
Or
had
catch these
ample
hands.
warning.
Listen,
Ample
Indeed.
warning.
Snap here what going on. All right, I'm out there. I know come off my period. I don't want to put none there. So big man, you deaf. I am about hold this here. Is a mama no
Catch
Let me
these,
hear
catch this.
none for you. Catch these hands.
And then you had
Indeed.
the typical Bajan nosy neighbor that's like, what going on in there?
What on in there? They're
Cross
always
it,
fucking
killing
carrying on with them.
she. Cross it, killing.
So initially,
Uh,
right, I feel it was your heart. I was like, all right, here we're going on, right? See, she is too nosy. Wherever I need to have her with this body is too weak. And whenever I get my body, she's the first to go. Hence, you're too nosy.
Indeed. I personally think the heart man should have ditched Snake at that point and possessed Snake's girl because clearly she a real gangster.
She was the better one though. Like, yeah, I agree on that one because, like, yeah,
She is a real one.
Captain Ginyu Swap.
no, she is no horse. She is definitely no horse part on this. She needs
Yeah, she's a bad gal.
clearly. Yep.
Indeed. So y'all ready to score?
So for
Y'all
me,
ready to
that
score?
was
How y'all
like-
feel about characters?
Characters.
Snake mother could eat a dick straight. Then there is also that pissy ass officer that then said, I can't do nothing. I don't be. He could go on and drop in the furthest well too. Snake and by Skeet, we know is normal, but he's in a crossroads where he's trying to figure out what he need to do. But technically, the right side he need to go because your father is a police, so no brainer. So I would probably bump it to like an 8 because of the other characters I say are okay, but the others like I could care less. And then like the 3 of them is like all right, but the 2, that much today. Skeet might have gone and deserve going to be dropped off in his belt sound because she cares nothing about
Not
his side.
Skeet, Snake.
Snake.
mother.
That's fair. So like I said, I don't like the vast majority of the characters. I love the Heartman. I actually quite like possessed slash Gould Snake. Like so Snake gets possessed quite early on, and then later on he's released from his possession, but he's not quite all there. We were debating in our pre-show meeting whether or not he had like a full psychological break and was just completely gone, or if he's in a state similar to the state that you have ghouls in, like when Dracula has someone, he turns him into a ghoul. So we're not quite sure where he is, but I quite like what I consider to be Gould Snake because he's so gone. Like he's completely dissociated from reality now. He's a broken man,
I
and
think he broke.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he
think
broke.
the characterization of that was perfect. Snape's
Yeah.
girl was the absolute realist. Big ups / RIP. But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
other than
one.
that, like the characters are kind of meh. I want Skeet to dead be. I want to see him die a terrible, terrible, horrible death. And
I don't think I
I don't
need to
care
see
nothing about his
that.
girl or any of his boys.
That's the thing. Like, I don't care about her either. She's just there.
There, right. So I don't really necessarily care neither, but I don't need them to die,
I
technically.
feel
The ones
Yeah,
like
that need, like I said, I just justify the two that need a day. The policemen
I,
out who go on and they had the
I,
balls.
even though I feel like the the characters are not the main the characters. The humans are not the main characters, and the Heartman is the main character. You should still be able to have a cast of characters that you care about, much in the same way that, or Naruto is the main character and Sasuke is the main character, but everyone likes Kakashi, or everyone
Mhm.
likes Guy or Rock, right? So I
Yeah.
still feel
agreed.
like you could make characters that people can care about or identify with, even if they're not the main character. And that
Yeah.
might not be your intention at the time because you're focusing on this. But I still think it would be good storytelling to make the other supporting characters be people that you care about. So I'm not gonna give him a 10 out of 10 for this. I
Right,
Yeah, same,
would
same.
give him
right.
probably a 7 or 8 because
Uh,
for whatever purposes the characters do so far, they work. Like you don't look at what a character has done and says this is garbage.
oh
You
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you
I should
go
be clear. While I
you say
don't like
oh,
any of the
that's
characters,
dumb, but it progresses. It's dumb, but it progresses the story rather
yeah,
than
Correct.
and
doesn't make
it's on
sense.
brand for that character.
So it don't
Yeah.
make so I can't say that they're faults with how the characters are used.
Agreed. And while I will chastise Matthew constantly about his love for the everyman character and how I don't care about him personally, I have to give him credit in that none of his characters are badly written, which is important.
Nope.
So that is why
None.
I will give the story a 9. It's a very good story, but the characters I don't care about them. I give it a 6.5. Just I don't give a
Christ.
shit. Me.
Fair for that one. I think that's fair. I think that's
I
fair.
got 7 for the characters. I got 7 for the characters.
I only got a solid 8, that's it. But other than
Yeah.
that, I give the reason why. But this guy.
Well, it's this guy.
All right, so I mean that's still not a bad score. When we tally it all up, that's still a 7 overall.
Right.
So we're giving it a 7 for characters, so it's still doing quite well. Now for art, and no one gets to go first on art because I want to go first on art.
Oh, please.
So let's pull up the art. Now we mentioned before this is one of Matthew's older books. He started this when he was at college back in 2008. I think these 6 issues took about 2 years to do, so he would have produced these between 2008 and 2010, and then he released the book in 2012. So Matthew's current art style it's very detailed, it's very realistic, it's very dark and gritty. This art style to me looks quite anime influenced.
It is
And I keep saying that it really reminds me of the old Lupin animes. And personally, I love that. I always say Matthew's current art style is like a well-rounded meal. It's meat and potatoes and vegetables, and it's not junk food. I feel like this is a bit more the junk food I wanted. It's very stylized. It still has the exaggerated black features that is more Matthew's characteristic style, but it has that more stylized, less detailed, cleaner look that I quite love. So I love the way that he does characters in this. Anybody else want to add stuff? Because I can go on about this all day. And I probably will spend a lot of time on this.
Nah,
You want
honestly,
any more slides of his art?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a few that I want to highlight.
I think
So
for
I'm
me,
going through them slowly.
for me, I am always amazed at how he draws like objects and vehicles. Like to me, those are the highlights of his art. He's very, very technical and good when it comes to those.
Very much so.
As you said, these people look very stylized. Like it looked like it reminded me of One Piece. Like
Yes.
and is interesting because I remember when we talked about Life and Death in Paradise, how you saying you had difficulty identifying who's who with the two policemen because they looked alike, which I found hilarious because all policemen have the same haircut
Yes.
in
This is true.
Barbados, right? But with this, you can tell who's who.
Yeah, no issue with identifying any of the characters. You always know who's who.
You know that's Snake. You know that's Skeet. You know that's the I can't remember with the dreads. Then I got a fat fella that you never know his name, but he fat, and he ugly. Like he only a mother could love this man. That's how ugly this.
Wow.
Gee, I wonder where that information came from because like I was wondering.
I don't think we have a picture. I don't think we have a picture of him because he's just a bit part character with the click, right?
Oh, I could find him.
But and then you know who the priest is. You know who's girl is. You know what Snake's mother looks like. So yeah, they're very identifiable and they're very stylized, and I don't have a problem with that. So I mean, yeah, I don't think I have a problem with what I'm seeing from it because there's still like there are some scenes where the characters look a bit too cartoonish. Like I think it was one when I can't remember if it was his mother. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, there we go.
That man looked like a frog.
Yeah, he definitely giving me Kappa vibes.
Kappa.
Cool.
It's only what I could love.
Stuff that Matthew does. Like one of the things I have to say about Matthew, right?
Look at that one lip, B.
No, he looked like
the man's full head.
He looked like rejected Muppet from the Muppets.
Yo, bro.
Exactly what he
looks like. The man look like Count when on like screaming, man.
He look like Count went on spring break. You're right.
That is
just getting going. I just going into 1, 2 victims. Going and just touch everybody else.
No, but I honestly gotta say that Matthew is clear from the early works. Matthew has had this ability to tell a story with his vehicles and his backgrounds, everything, putting his characters in them. Because even from a horror standpoint, I'm like, his way of placing vehicles and houses and neighborhoods in panels where there's pretty much nothing around, it makes you feel cut off. It makes you feel like if you could scream, but ain't not one freaking boy coming to help you, big man. Like
exactly.
No one.
100%.
And then on top of that too, like not only being able to draw vehicles, but draw the motion, and you actually feel like you're in a high speed ass chase. That section where like, the police are moving, and that whole big chase scene, I was just like, I can feel myself. Yes, I feel myself like moving through all the bush, like all the the rows with the bush overgrown and everything. It was kind of like, yeah, nah, I somewhere up in St. John. The men moving, the men pushing, the men trying to get away.
Yeah, like Matthew's visual storytelling in this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And it has that manga feel to it. I love it.
It definitely does. So one of the reasons I feel why we got through this book so quickly compared to like let's say Hard Ears that we read last time. Hard Ears is a very text heavy book. There's a lot to read at the beginning. There's lots of words to read, and it takes you a while to get through them because you can only read at a certain speed, especially when you have to look for text boxes, and it takes time for your eyes to travel. Heartman tells its story like primarily through images. So you can quickly look at an image, and like I said, Matthew's current style is very, very highly detailed. This style is a bit less detailed. So he's a bit fast and loose with some lines, but he retains so much energy that you don't need to like heavily scrutinize a panel. You can look at a panel and be like, okay, this is definitely happening. Move to the next panel, this is happening, and it allows you to go through the story very quickly and keep keep pace with the action. So like a
That's
high speed
brilliant.
scene will feel like it's going at high speed because you can read it quickly. So you're
Right.
moving from panel to panel, your eyes are moving from panel to panel extremely quickly because there's not a lot of visual clutter. And that is, I don't know if it's deliberate, but if it isn't deliberate, then Matthew is the luckiest man on the planet to be able to pull this stuff off without planning to pull it off. Another thing I want to highlight is that we've, in Life and Death in Paradise and in Hard Years, we pointed out Matthew's like ridiculous technical drawing skills. And I've said on a number of occasions that it looks like he puts a picture on the screen and then traces it over because the vehicles are so true to life. I want to highlight this particular panel, which is also in the chase scene that Ian was mentioning, because these proportions are not correct. So there is no way that Matthew was putting this on a piece of paper and tracing it. This is done from like just his skill. He's deformed the vehicle, but you can tell that this is a Nissan X Trail that the police were using in 2010, and it is ridiculous. Like Matthew is almost annoying how good he is. It is
Not only that too, and to add in the background, as you see in the same panel, there is a defender right in the corner that they are.
Oh yeah,
chasing too. Don't
Yeah,
right
yeah.
down there. An old defender, an old
Yeah, like-
Land Rover defender. The man just using, and you could tell what color it is. It's blue. And this is a black and white. The black and white color. You can tell that shit is blue. It's like
yeah. Like, and you say that I hadn't thought of that before, but you can kind of maybe because what he's drawing specifically is stuff that you see in real life.
everything.
I do associate colors with some of these scenes, even though there's no color in this book. It's just crazy. Oh, and I guess I should point out, when we were talking about the setting, we were saying that like some of the stuff isn't quite 100% accurate. So our Barbados police force ain't got no choppers, fam. We got no ghetto birds in BIM. But it fits the scene so well that I can't even take off points. Like his visual storytelling is, and I guess we're kind of going into technique a bit, but it's chef kiss shit. Like I absolutely love it.
What I like about this, like this scene is the shading and how well it's done.
It's done, yeah.
Like the lighting and even the texture that the shading gives of the van. Like right on the hood where the lights reflect out onto the hood, and then you can see like there's like where the lights are at the top, reflecting down onto it, but you have like these areas of black. It seems so well done and it's black and white. It just seems so good.
Yeah, man. Matthew's technical drawing skills are, I want to say, second to none when it comes to the Barbados comic book scene.
Like a cut scene in a game or something.
Correct.
Like they spend all of the RAM on that.
Yeah, like this is your budget here. Like this is your, except this happens throughout the entire book.
Oh, just for the guys, Ian had to drop out, so just letting everyone else know Ian had to drop. Ian had to drop out, I believe.
Yeah. We were definitely not saying that Ian is at some kind of house filled with his harem of deaf ladies, but
nor is he trying to hide them at any point.
Yeah. See, he has some business to go take care of.
I told you all before we started that he was shooting a DJ Khaled video, but
yes,
mine was on set.
I believe it.
So Roun, can we show some of the gory stuff? Because like I really want to get into that.
We can show gory stuff. Let's give the disclaimer. This review of Heartman will contain scenes of explicit violence and gore. If you have a weak stomach, if that is not for you, you might want to click away now because we're going to start diving into some of the gorier elements. But if you can stomach it, definitely stick around because it only gets better from here, guys. It only gets better from here. So where do you guys want to start?
Start anywhere that is gore. And we could just start. We can
Start
start.
at the. I was gonna say. I was gonna say spread
The
eagle.
spread
Start at-
eagle. The
start at the.
spread eagle.
start at
We
the-
won't get there.
Start at the blood
I want
eagle.
to get there
Blood
early.
eagle, guys.
Start at
Let's
the
start
blood
with the
eagle.
Hey,
okay.
you said something earlier. I was like, nope, it made no sense. You already started it. We are going forward with it.
Yep.
We are not going. There's no take backsies at this at all. We're just full throttle. So we said blood spread eagle, fam. I don't care how it sounds.
Terrible.
It sounds like that.
Terrible. Okay, give me a second to locate it. I was actually going to start with snake's foot.
Yes, even start with that. We could start with that.
It's too late now, guys. I'm going to the. Dang it, where are we?
Because like there's this point where Snake is actually being possessed, and how he has been possessed is something that we felt like oh my god, this just seems like if this happened to me, I need to actually seek some sort of medical attention or shoot or cut it off by myself or something, just to get into it. Because the fact that you can feel the intensity, every bite, every crawl, every crease into it, and I'm happy with the details of it. It just seems like it's really sickening, but it's very satisfying to me sometimes. So I just like seeing that stuff because I vengeance.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's just me. It's just me. And there's also some scenes where there are some.
Oh, so before we get into the blood eagle, I want to highlight some other scenes as I'm making my way through. So we mentioned that Snake gets possessed by the Heartman, and he kind of like becomes a ghoul. So he starts like feasting directly on flesh. He's trying to strengthen his body and stuff. So this is the lighter elements where it starts to get a bit creepy, but he doesn't quite go all in yet.
Oh,
He's kind of.
Yeah, the background. Like what the fuck?
Like, what is going on, bro?
Just that one.
For you, big man, like
to the left, like big man. What
like,
you are so?
What the hell?
No. He reminds me of that me where I was like, that this Muppet, you be like into the side. It was like
the monkey one, the monkey.
Yeah. He just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nah, fuck this. I left in here.
That is the most.
And again, Matthew shows a lot of motion into it, because like you can see them like start to run and scampering in the background, because like the motion that he uses with the technique with it, fabulous speed. So, but did Snake start after he had the Heartman had left him? Was he? I think there was a point where he was actually still feasting or doing something afterwards, trying to actually get some sort of some nutrients maybe from it. So he was still feasting on like live flesh or dead flesh.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit later on. So this is the lead up to the blood eagle scene. So let me go back a bit. So at this point, this is Snake's girlfriend. She starts to see the Heartman emerge in his true form, and if you are a Bajan, you will know that this is just a mass of centipedes. Mm-hmm. So immediately, it's nasty.
It's terrifying.
Then he bursts through the ceiling as just this mass of centipedes, and he suspends her. And he's holding onto her, and Snake is losing his shit. So what I think was really clever with regards to the framing is that it, instead of like going full frontal, because she's also not wearing any clothing, so I guess it might be a bit, people might focus too much on the sexualization rather than the gore. It goes from a back scene where you're not seeing anything that's fundamentally sexual, but in this moment, you can tell exactly what's happening. And the characterization, the artistic expression, even though the art style is very fast and loose, it's very energetic, but not super detailed. It conveys what's going on with enough like graphical detail to make you very creeped out, but not enough to immediately like make you want to throw up. So I think that was a clever way of Matthew like easing us into the gore that was to come. So yeah, like, and, oh, bruh. So I'm gonna. Oh, I was gonna skip past this, but I can't do it.
No, please.
And then we have her heart in his hand, and it's just the tagline, "We have risen." It's classy stuff. It's classy stuff.
There are some pages where that he is shown where when the Heartman is coming to his full potential, and he just started doing like the whole Michael Myers / Jess and slashing people like from left to right, and it was done.
The cars and shit.
Yeah. And then pulling people all the cars and just like literally they're being held or binded by the seatbelt, and you're just coming out the seatbelt and just looks so freaking crazy.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show you one more scene before we get there. So this is the part you were talking about earlier, where so Snake he's been released from his possession by the Heartman. The Heartman has reclaimed his original body, which is the body of a mannequin that is animated by basically a million centipedes moving in unison. But he still has this need to like feed on flesh. So you see our guy, he's here, he's in the dark, in the same layer, and he's eating something, but you're not quite sure what he's eating. And he says, so this is the part where we're not quite sure if he's had a psychotic break or if he's just fully in ghoul mode. He says, "Delicious. Right. We haven't eaten together in a while." And the next page is a page of his girlfriend. And he's like, "Trisha, you sure you don't want anything to eat? You look a bit pale." And Trisha is very dead.
Very dead.
This is when the gore starts to kick up a bit. She's like,
here's the thing with this, right? No, she's not even a pretzel. She can actually go into the suitcase very easy. Snake and the Heartman has literally defined the odds and actually so if you want to travel size, this is actually a human's travel size inside of a in the case. So basically they have done the impossible. And my mom's like, "Yeah, though, you don't want to eat because you look pale there, though, sweetheart."
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's feasting on her intestines.
Yeah. So bit by bit.
Yeah. This right here to me is when the book took off, and I was like, "Oh, Matthew is now serious. We're not pulling any punches. He's going all in on the horror and gore, and it only goes downhill from here."
Mm-hmm. Or in this case, in Roun's case, uphill because he loved this shit.
Well, I didn't want to say it.
I said it for you.
But yeah, so we can pretty much just go page by page from here.
I love this. I love this.
These are two random nobodies. My guy is on his bike. Well, let's go back a page. So my man is riding off with his girlfriend in the bar of his bicycle. So Fireburn, big hardback men that have girlfriends. Let me just start right there.
Wow.
But yeah, and then they get into an accident. My man falls over, and you just see his girl being pulled into the canes, which is again like very quintessential Heartman antics, pulling people into canes.
Correct.
And this is where we get our second Blood Eagle. He just
Eagle.
We just ripping people's hearts out in broad daylight now. We don't care. The Heartman has awakened. He's at full strength, and no one is safe. At no time of day, in no location, no matter what you're doing, we are snatching you up. Hide your wife, hide your kids, because we coming for everybody.
Hide your pets, hide your sheep, because Snake out too. Not like a snake out too. Just
saying. Oh yeah, damn right.
When they saw that, I was like, that is rough, B.
Yeah. So
like that happens so quick. Like
literally that's the whole scene. Like, we introduce these random two characters.
I wish he would have to do that disembowel this girl from behind?
I know how he did it. To actually strip her from her clothes and then disbar her quickly, like it even takes him like less than seconds because the guy was
We giving
actually
everybody
scampering.
hugs, man.
Man was scampering, trying to find
Heartman
her.
is a level 10 spooner. Just full hugs and put the chest open. That's how we do it. Heartman is next level. So we're moving fast along to Julian's favorite scene. Oh, there's too much. I'm gonna have to gloss over this stuff. Buy the book and read it yourself because we can't highlight everything. So I'm gonna fast forward to Julian's scene of choice.
Yes.
This is when the guy cries for his mommy.
No, that's part I'm skipping.
Not one.
I don't want to get into whole bad men never cry for their mothers.
Until they do.
Yep.
If you cry for your mother, you're not a real bad man, fam. Sorry.
Yeah, and they still wear sandals. So Bama's will still wear sandals.
Oh, this scene, yeah, this
scene, brother.
So let me zoom in a bit for those of you who don't know what's going on. So to set the scene, we've just come off like the cane ground scene where the girl gets blood eagled and then the dude gets impaled and consumed from the inside out by centipedes, which is as creepy as it gets. We have these two characters. They're driving along in a car, minding their own business, and then
one of them is Skeet's
mother.
No, one of them is Skeet's mother.
It's Snake's.
The other one.
No, not Skeet's.
Snake's mother.
Yeah, Snake's.
One of them is Snake's mother, and the other one, I believe, is Snake's
girlfriend's mother. Yeah,
I thought it was next door neighbor actually.
Actually, so I can't remember. F is the fat woman.
Is he fat woman?
Next door neighbor, and then Snake's mother.
You're right. Which is just saying about they're always fighting.
Yeah. So she's asking if she was a bad mother, and then immediately just talk to the palm. Just talk to the palm.
That ain't all, folks. That ain't all.
But this scene right here is where it gets wild. Like I wasn't sure Matthew would go this far, but when he did, I was quite pleased. So my girl gets grabbed, pulled through the window of her car. Her neck gets caught on the seatbelt, and then pull and snap. And
is the hurt for me?
Yeah.
It's the bulge in the neck on the last panel that had me like, Matthew is so serious.
Is the bulge in the neck, and there is the part of where the skin is still embossed in the seat belt, because that part is you can actually feel it in.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so gross.
Direct roughness, B.
This direct roughness. This is like, jeez. And her, as you can see, her eyes are bulging because the pressure, she can't take it.
Yeah. So like the subtle detail. Sean says that Matthew is a master draftsman and his control over light and shadow is superb. And I mean that sums up Matthew's art. This is gourmet stuff.
Correct.
Gourmet stuff.
Correct. Glorious stuff.
So I got nothing else to say, man. Like this is the scene I want to get to. This was like the culmination of the book for me. I was like, okay, we are ready to be serious. Delvin has showed up. He says,
yes,
glorious
violence.
I love it.
Yes, and he loves it.
He didn't just show up. He was summoned.
He was summoned
from the ether. He felt it.
He felt somebody showed up to his violence.
And he's just like, yep, let me get it.
Like a bat signal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're definitely running out of time, guys. It's time to score the art. What are we giving this man for art?
Listen to me. 9.75 out of 10.
I'll definitely give it a 10.
Yeah, so like honestly, I don't love every single thing about the art. I feel like some panels were maybe not rushed, but they weren't as detailed. It does a really good job of capturing the energy of the scene, but I feel like ideally they should have been more fleshed out. So I definitely have to admit that Matthew has come a long way in his art between this and, let's say, Hard Ears. But boy, oh boy, do I love more about this than I hate. Like, it ain't perfect,
but it works though.
It works perfectly. So I am going to give it. I should give it like an 8, but I'll go and give it a 10. I don't know. This gives me warm fuzzy feelings on the inside of my heart. I love it
because you are that sick, sir. I just said it.
So this is probably not the most objective 10. I feel like objectively the art in this book is an 8. Matthew's come a long way. He's gotten better, but for this book, I'm giving the art a 10.
Understand?
I think I'll go CMGs with you because it fits the atmosphere that he's trying to set as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it as you said, how you feel, it feels fast and loose. Because there's a lot of movement in the comic itself. I think it does well.
And like the covers in this book are just super good.
Yeah, the cover art is good.
I want to go back to the cover of the first issue, which I think was
the only thing that would have made this better for me is if in all this black and white he would put in like dashes of red somewhere.
Yeah, but see, there are things where it might be the pricing of if you have color inside the book, something it might be more costly.
Yeah, I think printing would have been more costly. But if he had just kept the black and white and only had red when blood showed up, this would be chef's kiss perfect.
I love this. I love this cover. I would want this as a poster piece.
Same. The cover for the second issue, the second volume is good, but this is by far my favorite. It is super duper good.
Yep. Have to agree on that.
So yeah, we're giving this 10s across the board.
Yeah, why not?
Bias 10s. We admit that this particular 10 is not the most objective 10. Hold that. All right, we're gonna move quickly to technique. I can start on technique. You know me, my bugbear is lettering. I thought lettering in this was 99.9% fine. There is literally one panel on one page of the 220 pages where you have to read a bubble that is at the bottom left before you read a bubble that is at the top middle, and the bubble that's at the top middle is bridging two panels. And when you're lettering, if a bubble bridges 2 panels, you assume that you read it first because it's connected to 2 panels. And in this particular case, you have to read it second. And that was it. Like, that was my only complaint in 220 pages of comics.
For me, there was like I think 1 or 2 grammatical errors.
Yes, there were.
And then there was a consistency issue where the baker's tenantry or whatever was in St. John or St. Philip, and then it switches somewhere else. So that's something you have to check.
Yeah. So, right, because Baker's is in St. Peter, IRL. And at one point he does list it as being somewhere else. And there is also another discrepancy where a character is called Latoya, and then a few panels later she's called Latonia. So there are small grammatical errors, and I guess that does speak to Matthew having been green when he did this in terms of typos and maybe just small inconsistencies,
or even just having it reviewed or editing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's definitely not perfect technique wise. It's already 10 years old basically, and when Matthew would have started it would have been 13 years ago. So it's definitely not like his finest work from a technical perspective, but the technical issues are definitely overshadowed by what the book gets right. Delvin says that this is the book that made him believe that doing comics in Barbados was possible. and I can definitely understand that.
I could see
But
the
the thing
same
is,
too.
it still holds up really good for a 10-year-old comic.
Yeah, man,
That's the
for
thing.
sure, for sure.
So even that in of itself is something to be celebrated.
Agreed. So I'm gonna say a quick. Oh no, I like. So additionally, because I already have my score in my head, so I think I need to justify it now. I've said lots of positive stuff about the book, and my score isn't going to be a 10; it's an 8. I do think that the book would have benefited from a bit more detail in a number of the panels.
Mm-hmm.
So Cameron, can you take over for a second?
Yeah, sure. Right. So in terms of the technique, like I said before, there are a few grammatical errors. Room would have pointed out. Room would have pointed out where the there was that one error in the bubble and whatnot. My thing is, if I look at it in totality, the way the story is told, where the story is shot, it is very well done and well executed, and I don't have too much gripes over how it was done. Probably just those niggling issues. So for me, my score is gonna be relatively high still. It's not gonna be a 10, of course, because of those issues. So I'll
Right.
probably give it a 7, a 8 probably if I'm high. If I'm going higher. And that's how I feel.
Um, I probably might give it a 7.5 because again with the issues that we all clearly could be see what happened because of Mafia no being getting into it and some of the grammatical errors that were there. So for me, can't really see it necessarily need to be biased on it, but as we go, there were some things that we could have improved on, obviously, but in time that he grows as a person, he actually get to see what he has done before and then improved on it plenty of times. So for me, the 7.5 could work on this because I give him like halves because I can.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with my 7
Yeah,
and your 8. I guess when Room comes back, we'll take his so he can tally the scores.
yeah, because here's
Um
that we're here standing like we end up with two horsemen. It was supposed to be five, no, we're two. I'm wondering what the hell is happening because this doesn't look good. Because people say, yeah, I booked for 5 people and I only get two. What happened here?
we could carry it, B. We could carry the
Yeah,
team.
of course we can carry it.
So I think that wraps up the review of the Hartman. I hope you all have enjoyed it. What we're going to do now is go into our second segment. Well, it's just the two of us right now, and
Yeah,
that
fam.
is essentially us going through um things that we would have watched throughout the month and just giving you all the heads up of what we watched and what we thought about them.
Okay.
So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go
'Cause
ahead,
I
because there are things I watched, but again, I go see if we can probably review for tomorrow, which is the
oh, the
Xion
how
Network show, and then
yeah.
Xion After Network. So
Oh
you can
yeah,
go
it's the
ahead.
NNM. It is your
Yep,
meet the fans thing tomorrow.
yep.
So all right. So since there's so little of us today, I can expand a bit. So the first thing, okay, let me start with the good. I watched season 4 of Castlevania.
Okay,
That stuff is hot fire. It is lit. Everything about it is on point. The music is on point. The characters are on point. The story is on point. The action scenes are on point. The character development is on point from where they were in season 3 to where they go to season 4. Oh my
nice.
goodness, that is so good. If you have not watched season 4 yet, go watch it. If you have not watched Castlevania yet, go watch all 4 seasons.
Right,
That is what you're supposed to do for the rest of this weekend. Do not
and then
let June find you and you have not
and
watched
not watched it.
Castlevania.
Nah, that happening at all. Cause like I just been in on
Do
Netflix
not,
to
yeah, don't do that to yourself.
nah, nah.
And
If
I
not, I will
watched,
go find
I
something.
watched that. I think I watched that last week. That was good. The
Okay.
bad is I watched Yasuke, and I legit
Yeah, it's called Yasuke actually though. The
Yasuke.
U in yeah the U
Yes,
in
sorry,
Yasuke.
Yasuke.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because Get it wrong.
So let me be fair. Let me be fair to LaShawn. When I watched Yasuke, I got my COVID shot and I got my 5G chip. So
Chip.
there, so
Okay.
maybe the side effects of these 5G was dealing with me, but I I fell asleep watching it. I made it to like episode 3 when he was fighting the pastor, and I fell asleep. So it could not have been that good, and I did not get back to it. And I think I like LaShawn's art a lot, and I like what he's trying to do. But I think maybe I like the Flying Lotus intro.
Flying Lotus.
I know
Flying
Devin
Lotus
likes it. I know Devin likes it as well. I love up to the other day when I was in the gym, I was listening to the soundtrack for Yasuke, which is all done by Flying Lotus, and it is beautiful. But you see that anime, I gotta go back and watch it, right? But because
okay.
it send me sleep, I can't. How is boss watching anime? B?
To
I
be
think he
fair,
tried to
right?
do too
And
much.
I agree.
yes,
I agree.
yes, yes, yes. That's the thing.
But I want to
So
give him the benefit of the doubt, and I want to go back and watch it. I
okay,
hope I'm not. I hope I ain't wrong. And
I want to say the same thing too. But my thing is this: when you get a person like me who doesn't watch anime in in subtitles, going to watch an anime in subtitles, we got a problem because I couldn't stand. There's no not to Lakeith Stanfield and his acting first, but honestly, I can bear with the episode. I had to go to
Yeah,
nope, switch the subtitles to Japanese because I had to. And this is really downfall comes for me because I am stuck in episode 2, right in the middle. I have not got past that yet.
uh, rough. Now I watched
Yeah.
all Yasuke, and I definitely thought it was rather middling. I think LaShawn is trying to do too much. I think he's trying to fit too many of his ideas and passions into each individual series. I think he's demonstrated that he is good enough and that people trust him enough to give him more projects. So if you're going to tell a samurai story, just tell that story. If you're going to tell a
Exactly.
mech story, tell that the
Just
next
gonna
time
make
Netflix
sure.
gives you $1 million. If you're going to tell a hip hop inspired story, do that in your third project. You don't need to cram them all into one project. So
Correct.
that's my 2 cents. So yeah, sorry for stepping out, guys. I had to go deal with some real life stuff. Did I miss your pop culture highlight, Julian?
We're just going through because I've been so busy. I don't know exactly what to review because like until we get to something, I just comment and highlight.
Oh,
That's how
fair
we're
enough,
going.
fair enough. So can I talk about Without Remorse?
Go ahead, because I watched that too.
Oh Lord, let me talk about Without Remorse. Cameron, I think you're muted. You're muted.
since there's so little of us today, you have
Yeah,
extra time to expand on that or say something else.
yeah,
Okay,
because
cool.
YouTube has actually booked 5 of us and we end up being 3 of us, so therefore YouTube will
Yeah,
not
yeah.
get
So now I
no
get to
money
steal
for it.
Jessica and Ian's time and talk about all kinds of random things. So I watched Without Remorse last night with the wife. It was our date night movie. And Without Remorse, this is with Michael B.
Our
Jordan.
date night movie or your date night movie
B, I'm
Michael
not
B.
gonna lie, right?
You know what? It was his date night movie with Michael B. Jordan. It was not his wife. It was not his wife's date night. She got
B,
tricked.
I'm going to be real with you, right? This was my wife's idea. She was like, Michael B. Jordan in this new movie, it looked like it got action in it. I know you like action. It will probably be cool. And I was like, I hadn't heard about it or anything. So I was like, all right, cool. Michael B. Jordan is a good boy. If he in it, I will give it a chance. So I sat down, I watched this movie. Boy, oh boy, did I love this movie. Now I always tell my wife, right, that if she dies, I'm going to become like just this cold shell of a man because all of the things in the world that I love would have died, and I just devolve into being a savage. Without Remorse, right? Is that dark fantasy made reality. Michael B. Jordan's character, so Without Remorse is based on a Tom Clancy book, and it focuses on John Kelly, who is the character that goes on to form Rainbow, which is like the stuff that Rainbow Six is based on.
Right.
So the story is very dark. It's about him serving his country and then being betrayed. His family dies, and he basically goes John Wick and just messes everything up. But what makes this good is that Michael B. Jordan does such a good job of, he doesn't just go from like, you're muted again, Cameron.
Hold on. Sean Ali said before I watch Without Remorse again, I would rather wash my eyes out with glass. Sean Allen,
Sean has bad
you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Can we highlight it? So
let me highlight it on the chat.
Thank you very much.
So that we can put Sean on blast. B. Michael B. So like most of these shows, like John Wick was, they showed you pictures of John being like a loving husband and being like a normal person basically. And then his wife died. He got a dog. The dog got killed, and he became the Baba Yaga. And he went from being a regular person to being like this cold, emotionless killing machine. That's not what Without Remorse does.
Nope.
John Kelly in this goes crazy. Like,
like nuts.
Like he's constantly grabbing his hair and like pulling his forehead back and forth. There's a scene where he's in prison and he's getting ready to fight, like in the raid style, the raid style scene where people are going to be coming in and he has to like fight them off as they come in. But instead of like being very calm and calculated, he still has a plan. But you can see like he starts hitting himself and like physically psyching himself up. But it's so believable because it looks like stuff that if you've ever had to fight, like I've not been in a million real fights, but I've fought in tournaments. So I've been fighting, but it wasn't like for life or death stuff. And that stuff you do before a fight. You have to get yourself in a mindset where you have to be willing to hurt people. And I love the fact that Michael B. Jordan makes that believable. And he gets to this point where like he has nothing left. And he has nothing left to lose, so he's willing to like risk it all. And there's a point that I don't want to spoil, right? But there's a point in the movie where he looks into the abyss. And the abyss stares back, and my man blinks. He goes from being like, I got nothing left, I'm gonna kill everybody dies, to being like, how about you hold up and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this like men and be adults.
Scene at the airport.
He
got in a jail.
Yeah.
That was me. I was like,
yes.
The man don't care.
That scene was
madness incarnate. So the contrast between this man being willing to like touch people who are literally untouchable and just do wild stuff and get it done because he's that amazing. But then also the like clarity coming on at the end where he's like, okay, hold up. I'm crazy, but your ass is like way crazier. Let's back up and have a conversation. Like that duality, I thought that it was really well done. The story, it wasn't original. It's not some like Oscar-winning show.
Highlight
the last thing before Delvin said.
He acted a fool.
This part about Michael B. Jordan couldn't activate out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah, that answer.
Watching this movie was like staring into the abyss. Roun has me seriously worried. I wouldn't expect nothing else from man the color of a sweet bread. Sean Allen, you son of a bitch.
Oh, you told him that he's the color of a sweet bread. Oh my goodness.
Listen to me. Sean has trash taste. Sean thinks that Naruto is the best anime ever made. So he has absolutely no clout when it comes to his ability to critique anything.
Real talk though, that is a good rap bar. Like you need to put that. You need to put that in like a rap bar and like and beef with somebody telling them that the color of sweet bread. Because don't tell anybody that the color of sweet bread is a fight. It's a fight.
Straight.
Oh my goodness.
No, you'll have to see what I go up a little bit like every single Sunday with Sean and this antics. And
Like I
you'll
want to
get it.
know. Like I want to know. Sean, list in the chat what movies you like. Like what are good movies for you? Because you don't like Marvel movies. You don't like Without Remorse. Like what movies have you watched that you think are top tier? I want to know.
I bet they're going to be movies like
The
Cloverfield
Jesus, if he types
and
anything in there that is
Section
trash,
9 and
right?
like wild garbage. Just
Never.
He's going. No, I don't even know.
we know Sean don't like nothing good. But no, so I genuinely enjoy Without Remorse. Without Remorse is like a deep dive into scenarios that I have strongly contemplated, and it was to me a fresh spin on like the Takens and the John Wicks. Your typical revenge story. I quite enjoyed that. Beyond that, since we got a bit more time, my next highlight of the month was King Kong versus Godzilla.
Sean
That
just said Cloverfield was great. I'm done. Like
we rest our case. Sean has trash taste in everything.
I no longer have respect for you, B.
Let's just put that there for the world to see. B. Cloverfield was great. That is Sean Allen.
All right, so you guys just give me a minute. I can actually go and get the lemon juice on my this fridge and start drinking.
Please,
so just
please do.
Like next he can say that. Next he can say that. Like, what's that thing with the Max that I hated? Pacific Rim. He's gonna say
he
that.
Loves them. He loves
He loves Pacific Rim.
He loves Pacific Rim.
Oh God, no! Oh my God. He loves Pacific. He loves when they forgot they had a sword.
Jesus, this is annoying. Annoying.
Oh my God, Sean.
So before we move on to Kong versus Godzilla, Delvin is asking how the action choreography was in Without Remorse. It was decent. It wasn't amazing. It's not going to blow your mind. I can't think of any particular action scene.
It's not a Disney movie, yeah.
I can't think of any particular action scene that blew my mind. I like the fight scene in the jail, but that was more from a storytelling perspective than a choreography perspective. The choreography wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad in any way, but it wasn't.
It was
hyper realistic.
It was hyper realistic.
It was hyper realistic, and
it was more gritty and grimy than like.
Yeah, it was.
Like
it was very grounded in. Nah, it's not even Tony Jaa. It was like very grounded in.
It's not right. I was saying it's not like that, but it is very gritty and grimy. Like I look at it, I was like, "Yo, you did that for real?"
Yep.
Like so, there's a spoiler. There's one where he drives off. There's one where he drives off a bridge with a person inside of him. When he finds out one of the people that killed his wife, and they drive into a bridge. They're drowning, like the thing is filling up with water, and he's like, "Before you die, you're gonna say her name." And he watches this man like try to get as much air as possible and hold his breath before he says his wife's name several times. He watches this man say his name several times, and then proceeds to hold his breath and watch this man drown. Before he gets out of the car. Like he didn't leave the man in the car and swim up. He sits down in the car with the driver's seat and look at this man intensely.
Yeah.
And watch the last breath of air leave this man's mouth.
Here's the extent he was willing to go. Because of spoiler alert, in the same scene where he actually crashed the limo of this person he's supposed to get this name from. He jumps up on top of the limousine, doses it in gasoline, lit it on fire. Then when it started to explode, he gets into this.
He gets inside and has a conversation with the man.
How's the conversation like normal? And then when he doesn't have the information he has, you think the guy he is bluffing because he's holding a gun. So he's like, all right, yeah, well, you think you're gonna paf? He shoots him in the shoulders like, yeah, so talk. I ain't playing. Give me that name. And there's like nothing. So you can see with the extent where he's going. This with the intent that he needs to get things done because he, like the name of the horseman I am, is vengeance.
Oh yeah,
Simple
yeah. I mean, and so like So Delvin, to answer your question, it's not worth the watch if you're just looking for set pieces and like spectacular action. That's not the strength of this movie. The strength of this movie to me is that it shows you how far a man is willing to go when he feels that he has nothing left to lose. In the scene at the end that Cameron is talking about, where he watches the guy drown, he watches the guy drown. So before he even jumps in the water, he puts his seatbelt on, and it's very telling that he puts his seatbelt on very calmly, and they're talking about some other random shit. And I'm like, oh, something wild's about to go down. And then he drives off a bridge into the river. And he watches the guy drown. And he doesn't even start to like try to get out of the vehicle. He sits back and he looks like he's at peace, like he's done. And he just breathes out and he's cool. And like, to me, the subtle storytelling aspects of that are what really got it for me. Like I said, the story isn't particularly original. The action isn't over the top. It's very grounded, kind of it's believable for people who aren't like connoisseurs of combat. So no one's going to do anything that's wild, that's going to blow your mind, because the average person is supposed to believe that this is doable by a regular person. So it's not amazing action. What to me was really good is that it showed you a man going from being like a very happy, fulfilled person to like having nothing left and being willing to go to the most extreme lengths and be cool with taking everything away from his enemies, even if it left him with nothing, because he didn't care. And that to me was a breath of fresh air. I love it. I love men who are willing to go to the ends of the earth just to spite people. That gave me life. It touched my heart. So I'll just touch quickly on Kong versus Zilla before we wrap up. Godzilla versus Kong was glorious. The story was middling. The physics made absolutely no sense. There's a part where you're going to the center of the earth and there's a gravity inversion that crushes things. And I was like, that's not how gravity works. If you are moving towards the center of the earth, that means that there is no a better balance of mass in front of you and behind you. So gravity will get less and not more. So like, these people don't know physics. It made no sense. But it has giant monsters scrapping, and that's glorious. I love the fact that it's like true to the old Japanese men in styrofoam costumes, in that Godzilla and Kong's fighting styles are both heavily based in martial arts. So there's a point where Godzilla literally gives Kong a shoulder throw, and it's technically sound. But because it's CG, they map the movement to be appropriate to their skeletons. And then they add a bit more of like visceral, animalistic movement to it. So it feels very primal. The action choreography in this is great. The set pieces are great. The power scaling is perfect. I never at any point thought that Kong was on the same level as Godzilla, and this movie proves it. But even though they're in two different power classes, it creates enough like storyline reasons why their fights are competitive. And then when the secret villain that we all knew was going to shows up and whoops ass, it's great. It's great. The only thing that could have made this movie better was watching it with Cameron and him hating it. If that was the case,
I would have hated it.
I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. It was a fun, mindless monster movie. Raw. I recommend it to anyone who's not Cameron and hates good things.
I can't put support behind those. Like, kudos to those types of movies and for people that just want to have a good time. But I can't sit through them and not. I can't sit through movies like Kong versus Skull and Pacific Rim, where people try to have like this wishy-washy science. They just should leave it out all totally, or just go for these tropes. For case in point, right? I watched because it was also date night for me, and I was convinced to watch A Quiet Place because it got such great reviews, and I was like, this movie's gonna suck. This is gonna be bad. So They never tell you what these creatures are. They just appear out of nowhere. I assume they're aliens because it's always aliens. Aliens invade the Earth. They're blind. They can hear everything, and they've managed to take over the Earth as predators. Really? And I'm just gonna go full spoilers because this is a 2018 movie. This movie is so much fucking shit. I sat down and said to myself, hold up, you can hide from more, like they're attracted to all songs, but they're not attracted to running water. So you could go in a river, unless you are extremely loud, they won't think anything different than you in a river. So basically all you have to do is go by a sea and relocate to the sea, and all of humanity is safe. Waterfalls are another one.
Or play loud music everywhere.
I was like, how could they survive in cities? Like it would, they couldn't. They would be overloaded by cities, right? Like so, if everyone blows their horn, they can't find anything because music is coming from everywhere. Because if you are hypersensitive to sound, then a lot of song is going to mess with you. The same way how like if you driving down the road and somebody put the high beams on you, your eyes automatically close or look away from it.
Yep.
Guess how they accidentally found out how to stop these monsters. The girl, the one of the main characters was deaf, and they were trying to get her hearing aid to work all this time. So because of the frequency, it was causing a feedback loop with the air, like the signals that the monsters operate in, and causing their brain to spaz out. And I found this out before the characters found out that this is how they could kill these things. I was like, they're super sensitive to hearing. Why don't we play really loud noises? So my thing is like, I feel like if you were to shoot a tank, like shoot tank projectiles at these things, or drop bombs on where these things are, these things' head would explode because of the sound. And like they even went into so much detail of the ears of these things, right? That you can see how delicate they are because they had to protect them with a
carapace. Yeah.
I was like, this is garbage. Now she owes me, and I'm going to collect.
I hate to break it to you, but Delvin is saying that they go into some more detail of how these things work in A Quiet Place too. That means that this movie got a sequel.
It's got a sequel.
It has a sequel.
There's a sequel.
There is A Quiet Place.
People saw Quiet Place 1 and said we need a 2.
Yep.
All right, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to break this all up because it's 2 minutes to 7. We are out of time. But this was great. This was a fun review. So I missed the wrap up for Heartman, but given the final scores,
it was a 7. It was a 7 and an 8 for the technical. I mean, so
that makes it a 7 point. I was giving it 8 for technique.
Right.
So a 7, an 8, and a 7 point. So it was 7 and 8, 7 and 8,
was
and an 8 for me.
2 8s and a 7. So 2 year old 8s, and I was a 7.
Okay, cool. So that'd be like 7.66. Let's just call that 8. We don't like odd numbers.
I always do.
So that would bring us.
Sean likes Quiet Place.
Let's not.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Sean likes everything that is bad.
He probably loves like in love with Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. God. I can't even tell if he's trolling. Just run the credits, B. You might got me.
So our final score for Heartman is a 9 out of 10, which I think is quite applicable and in line with basically all the books we reviewed so far. Like we mentioned, the first 6 reviews are going to be basically what we think are the best of Barbados. So check out Heartman. The link to the Comixology is in the description box below. So are the links to all of our socials. Check out my social, Cameron's social, Julian's, as well as Jessica and Ian. Please follow the Xion Network, the Xion Network 246, and Xion Expo on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to let Julian take us out. Please talk to us about tomorrow's show and the after show.
Sure. So tomorrow we're going to have a guest tomorrow on the Xion Network show. His name is Glyph. Can't remember the last name, but he's gonna be there tomorrow. Yeah, because it's one of those names that we just have is not his real name, so I can remember it. But he's going to be on our show, and topic for tomorrow is hip hop and comics, and
Oh,
what is the
nice.
relation to it and that tomorrow. So Sean and I are actually going to get into it, and then after that, obviously we got your shenanigans with the different correspondences in other news with Seth. Um, what's on the table and Phantom Zone, or and in this case, we are going to have the Hall of Zion, which is some place where as the opposite of this Phantom Zone. So that's going to be something we're going to review for tomorrow. And then afterwards, on 7 o'clock p.m. on the Art of Mohz, you will get me being on the after show, which I'm going to be host, and we could talk about freestyle about anything that your heart's desire. It could be what do you think about any reviews of the shows? Anything that you will want to talk about with the your artwork or anything that you really want freestyle on? It's not a problem for me because we're going to do that within an hour and probably 10, 15 minutes. Who knows? And Instagram allows us to do stuff even longer than an hour, so this is great for me. So check us out tomorrow on the Zion Network on Instagram, and follow me at the Art of Mohz. So I'll see you tomorrow. And with that, can I do the outro?
Go for it. Go for it.
All right, cool. So as usual, I say, be creative, be safe, be you. Wash your ass because it's still Corona still out there. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you all next month.
See you all next month, guys. Let's roll the outro.